It is finally spooky season, baby. It's the best time of the year. Get the fuck out of my face, Christmas people. Halloween reigns supreme when it comes to TV, and we all know it. All the best shows out gather up their cast of characters, put them in funny costumes and weird situations, and come up with comedy gold. I love when TV shows do this, so today, I'm Colton from Nostalgia Mode, and we're counting down the 10 best Halloween episodes of all time. Now, quick disclaimer before the comment section starts trying to light me on fire. Yes, I know the title makes it sound like I've seen every single show in existence and have carefully dissected all of their Halloween episodes, but let's be real, it's kind of impossible. There's just way too much TV out there. That said, you don't have to worry about me padding this list with random episodes I Googled or borrowed from someone else's ranking to try and earn some imaginary street cred. Every pick here is something I've actually watched, actually enjoyed, and can actually talk about without faking it. And I promise there are a few deep cuts here that I think you're going to love, so stick around for those.
Nick at Night wants to hear you scream.
And with that said, at number 10, we've got Friends and their Halloween party episode. First off, the episode starts with Joey Tribbiani being a fucking freak, and he might be the only TV sex pest I don't actively hate. It's a rare combo that Barney Stinson has never even come close to accomplishing. And speaking of problematic, I made the mistake of Googling slutty Leatherface after watching this episode, and yes, it is a real costume. And yes, my pants are a little bit tighter now. Now, I'm gonna have to be honest here, the Halloween vibes don't exactly kick in until after the cold open. The cold open is practically bare of decorations, music, or atmosphere, and they didn't even bother with a Halloween intro. Points off for that, big time points off for that. But then you remember that Courtney Cox is in a Catwoman costume for a majority of the episode, and suddenly you can have all those points back. All those points, big points, massive points. One of the reasons this episode works is because the whole gang actually stays together for the party instead of splitting into separate A and B plot locations like they usually do. Ensemble sitcoms love to break up the cast, but Friends is always at its best when everyone is in the same room bouncing off of each other. Watching Chandler, Ross, Joey, and the rest of them all trading quips in a costume, that's the good stuff. That said, the episode still kinda drags a bit whenever the focus shifts away from the party. Phoebe's subplot with Ursula's fiance, played by Sean Penn, is really kind of weird. He's a fine guest star, but the whole thing is just an awkward situation and honestly makes Phoebe look like kind of a bad person, even if clearly Ursula is way worse. And then you've got Rachel's candy storyline with the kids, which at least feels Halloween adjacent, but it's also mostly filler. But her dumping an entire bowl of candy into that kid's bag is really hilarious, and her assuming that Gunther is gay is also very, very funny. But overall, it's just not top tier stuff. Rest in peace, Gunther. But the saving grace here is the Chandler and Ross subplot, which is both peak sitcom and laugh out loud funny. Matthew Perry is absolutely on fire this episode. He is so sharp, he's so quick, just vintage Chandler. Rest in peace, legend. And David Schwimmer deserves a shout out too, because his physical comedy here in that arm wrestling bit is low key some of the best in the entire series.
Oh really? You think you're stronger? Why don't you prove it?
Oh, I'll prove it. I'll prove it like a theorem.
So yeah, the one with the Halloween party isn't quite as Halloween-y as I remembered, and on a rewatch it kinda slipped down the list. But when the group is all together, it's Friends firing on all cylinders. It's funny, charming, heartwarming, and endlessly rewatchable. And again, it's really just on this list because Courtney Cox dresses up as Catwoman. My lord.
I'm Freddy Krueger, and you're invited to my special get-together, but beware, you may never leave.
And at number 9, we've got It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which manages to throw one of the most authentically chaotic Halloween parties in sitcom history. I've been to a couple of these. They are exactly like this. Right off the bat, I do have to deduct some points because they didn't bother with a special Halloween edition of the intro. I mean, come on, a spooky little spin on that jingle practically writes itself. But still, once you're inside the episode, the set design and music actually feel like a real Halloween party, which is more than I can say for Friends. And one of the best things to come out of this episode is the term browning out. I cannot believe that transcended this show as a whole. People in my college house used to actually say that, and I know for a fact they had never seen Sunny before. Now, let's talk MVPs. Charlie Day absolutely runs away with this one. Every line delivery, every manic ramble and drunken crash out is just so funny. But I've got to give some love to Mac too, because he might have the two best jokes in the whole episode, and yes, both of them come at Sweet D's expense. The show has never really been subtle about bullying Dee, but in this one it hits Meg Griffin levels. And then of course we've got the McPoyles. Every time they show up it feels like a goddamn biohazard violation, and somehow they're still hysterical. I genuinely do not know how the cast got through those scenes without breaking, because the McPoyle brothers might be the most revolting running bit on television, and it is so funny. But the real kicker here is the red herring that Dennis might be the father of Dee's child. It is completely deranged, deeply vile, and yet somehow still one of the funniest things the show has ever done. Only Sunny could tell a storyline this messed up and still make you laugh until your stomach hurts. So yeah, maybe it doesn't have a spooky intro, but when the party vibes are this good, the McPoyles are this gross, and the gang is firing off jokes at this level, it totally earns its spot on this list.
It's hairy, it's scary, it's the month that 8 Cartoon Network. Run for your lives, everybody. October is out of control.
Okay. I know what you're thinking. This is technically a movie, not an episode of TV. But look, it's only 90 minutes long, which is basically just prestige TV episode length. And honestly, I needed to kind of break up all the comedy sitcom episodes on this list with something a little bit more special, you know? Plus, at the time of recording, this thing is completely free on YouTube, so you literally have no excuse. I adored this movie as a kid, and I adored this version of an animated Batman too. Don't get me wrong, Batman the animated series is obviously the GOAT, but this was the Batman that was actually airing on TV when I was growing up, and it's spooky as hell. The design style has this moody, angular vibe that just screams nostalgic Halloween throwback, and that guitar riff in the theme? God tier. It's this grungy Alice in Chains sounding riff that I swear has a little bit to do with the music in Matt Reeves' The Batman. I know it's just a fan theory, but I think there might be something there. So from what I can gather, fans are kind of split on this version of the Joker. I mean, he's definitely not like Mark Hamill levels of greatness, but I think he's fun, he's different, and he delivers some killer lines in this thing. Like, that's one good looking corpse. It's really funny stuff. And don't even get me started on Vampire Joker. The only thing scarier than a standard Joker is a Joker with fangs. But the real star here is Dracula, obviously. For some reason, he's buried in Gotham because of course he is. I mean, where else would he be, really? He is the perfect foil for Batman, not just in like a horror movie sense, but thematically. The film really leans into the whole son of Dracula idea. Batman and Dracula both use fear as a weapon, one for good and one for endless consumption. There's even a warehouse set piece where they use the exact same tactics to take out all the soldiers, and it rules. And unlike most kids shows that treat vampires like a sparkly Twilight kind of thing, this movie makes them feel really nasty and animalistic. And it's a kids movie! Dracula's first feeding scene in the cemetery with the guard is straight up unsettling. The sound design sells the bite, the blood feels gross and real, and the whole thing has this intensity that you don't really expect from what aired on the Cartoon Network. There's also a surprising amount of blood, especially in the Vampire Joker fight, but they get away with it by coloring it green, which also just ends up making it look even cooler. Now, I do have one nitpick. In Batman's first fight with Dracula, he just straight up loses. Like, he only survives because the sun comes up at the perfect moment. And sure, it raises the stakes and everything, and I get it in story structure and all that, but come on, he's Batman. You're telling me he didn't think to whip up a garlic bomb or a UV batarang or some sort of elaborate vampire booby trap? Later in the movie, he does actually finally get more creative with garlic gadgets, but I wanted to see that right from the start. He's the world's greatest detective. He should have been raiding Whole Foods like it was Arkham Asylum. Still, nitpicks aside, this movie is such a fun, spooky throwback. It's got tense fight scenes, slick animation, genuinely creepy vampire stuff, and just enough campy humor to remind you it's still Batman. There are other Halloween adjacent Batman stories out there for sure. Don't get me wrong, they're all great, but this one's kind of my personal favorite this time of year.
'Twas the night before Halloween, and all through the cursed town,
3 blood sacrifices over 3 days.
all the dark things were stirring, risen from the ground.
We were talking every awful thing we've ever seen. It's gonna be a slaughterhouse.
So the warrior angels gathered with care, ready to battle the evil ones who would soon be there.
We need to leave this town.
Why?
Because we're about to destroy it.
A special Halloween Supernatural, this Thursday, 9/8 Central on the CW.
In our number 7 pick, we get to actually see the small town horror story of a razor blade in your candy play out for real, and I've gotta say, it is just so good for Halloween. There's a shot specifically from the back of the inside of a guy's mouth with a razor blade in it. Oh my god, it's so fucking nasty. It's a practical effect that looks way too upsetting to be on cable TV, and yet it is, and yet I love it. The whole episode premise is great, with all the kills tying back into some sort of Halloween tradition or small town superstition. Honestly, all the early seasons of Supernatural kind of nail the fall vibes. I mean, Sam even jokes that their whole life is Halloween, and he's not wrong. You could go with any of the early seasons on this list, but if I'm sticking to my own fake rules here, I have to pick an actual Halloween episode, and this one delivers. Dean's eating candy non-stop, which makes the whole thing feel more lived in. Too many episodes of TV plop their characters into spooky locations without them ever actually interacting with their new spookified sets. But here's Dean just housing candy corn and peanut butter cups like it's a character trait. And weirdly, I always kind of forget when I do my yearly rewatch that this is the episode where Sam meets Castiel and the Angels for the first time. This episode doesn't just do the standard monster of the week thing, it also introduces angels, the seals, and all the bigger kind of arc mythology of the season. It's a huge step up in scope, and it gives the whole episode some real weight, so if you decided to show this to someone on an October night who'd never seen it before, they'd still kind of walk away understanding the vibe and the rules and the stakes of the show. It's actually kind of a sneaky good jumping off point. That said, it's not perfect. For a Halloween episode, the set dressing could have gone a little bit harder. You do get some jack-o'-lanterns and some trick-or-treaters and some Halloween parties, sure, but then suddenly you're in a hotel parking lot with 0 leaves on the ground, or in a park sitting on a bench where everything is bright green like it's mid-July. It's not exactly like the cozy Halloween look 100% of the time. Also, side note, why can 2 grown men just walk into a school? Like, they're not in their FBI getups, they're just in their normal flannels and stuff. Can they just kind of walk in? I guess this is 2009, so it was a different time. But like always, nitpicks aside, this episode rules. It's got Halloween parties, gore, scares, trick-or-treating, candy, demons, angels, one-liners, and real stakes for the overall season-long plot. Could it use a few more pumpkins and fake cobwebs? Definitely. But if you've only got an hour to kill after you get home from work in October, you cannot go wrong by throwing this bad boy on.
Starting Wednesday, Subway presents Fox's Halloween Bash. Join your host, the Crypt Keeper,
with your favorite Fox star
for 7 nights of Halloween fun from Universal Studios, Florida.
Now that's a scary thought.
Our number 6 pick immediately earns extra big points right out the gate for doing a special Halloween intro. More shows need to do this. It's such an easy win, and it instantly puts you in the spooky mood. Bonus points also for the spooky transitions sprinkled throughout the episode. It's a nice little touch that goes a really long way for me. But the hook that everyone's here for is all the Hitchcock jokes. This whole episode is basically built around contrived ways to do Alfred Hitchcock themes and stereotypes. And it's a very clever idea that really only works in a Halloween special. It's meta, it's playful, and it makes for a nice change of pace compared to the usual Halloween party gone wrong setup. And listen, I don't know if I'll ever get another chance to really gush about this anywhere else, but Deborah Jo Rupp as Kitty Foreman is fucking hysterical on this show. She's one of those sitcom MVPs that could literally make anything funny. Her joke with the phone booth bit in this episode is hands down one of the funniest gags in the whole series, maybe even this whole list. She just brings me endless joy as this character, and it's part of the reason why I keep coming back after everything, happened.
Oh my goodness, a phone booth, that's lucky.
Now, I'll admit, it could have used a bit more Halloween set dressing. There's no party, there's no trick-or-treating, and there's not much in the way of decorations or pumpkins, but between the Hitchcock parody and the retro horror references from the 50s and 60s, it more than makes up for it. The one thing that does bring it down a notch is the subplot with Eric and Donna's relationship, specifically Donna. It's way too dramatic, it's not really all that funny, and honestly has nothing to do with Halloween. Luckily, she's barely in the episode, which is kind of a shame because I actually really like her as a character, and when the show gives her and Eric something to do, it's some of the best stuff that you can see. On the flip side, we have Kelso, who I'm not always the biggest fan of, but he's the MVP of this episode. He gets the best Alfred Hitchcock bits, he gets the funniest reactions, it all just kind of works this episode with his character. And now we're gonna kind of talk about the elephant in the room. With everything that's come out about this cast in recent years, it's admittedly harder to watch this series with 2020 goggles on. I don't really know how I feel about that 70s show as a whole anymore, which is really sad because I fucking adore this show. But no matter what, I'm going to make an exception for this one around Halloween because it's a damn good Halloween special.
13 nights of Halloween.
I just had myself a little freak show back there.
The haunting season is October 19th through the 31st, only on ABC Family.
At number 5, we have Community's Epidemiology, and this thing is just wall-to-wall quotable lines from the jump. Every single character gets at least one banger throughout the episode, but Troy is the absolute MVP. He steals the whole thing. His delivery, his panic, his one-liners, it's all perfection.
Get away from those hotties!
Although him decking the Dean like that might be a little bit aggressive, but the Dean kind of deserved it, so he gets a pass. And you know I gotta give extra points for a special Halloween intro. You know I'm looking for that, that's what we wanna see. The set dressing and overall vibes of this episode are fantastic. It's one of those episodes where you can just feel the Halloween dripping out of the screen, and the secret weapon is the background music, made up entirely of ABBA songs and the Dean's special notes to himself. Somehow Gimme 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 makes a zombie apocalypse twice as funny. And here's what I fucking love about this episode. It actually happened. Like, this isn't a dream sequence, it's not a gag episode outside of the canon. This was a real zombie attack that the characters actually went through, survived, and then got mind wiped so they don't remember it. But it does still have repercussions for later in the series with Shirley, which makes it even funnier that this completely ridiculous event is still technically real to these characters. I guess now that I say that out loud, that's not really a big deal for the shit that the Community characters usually go through in an episode. That's probably a bigger deal for a different show like Friends or something. Now, sure, the resolution here with the air conditioning is a little silly, and the episode itself is a tad short, but who cares? It's got disco, Halloween decorations, incredible costumes, laugh out loud jokes, and a zombie outbreak all set to ABBA. That's the full package. What more could you want? If anything, I could have leaned just a bit scarier, but honestly, this thing doesn't need it. It just fucking rocks. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really wish my name was Kevin.
And at participating Hallmark stores, get your hands on the Spooky Sounds tape, full of creepy sounds and Halloween theme songs. $1.95 with any $5 Hallmark purchase, only at participating Hallmark stores. It's a scream.
At number 4, we have The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Ghost in Suite 613. Disney Channel used to crank out fantastic Halloween episodes back in the day for all of their shows, and I've got a lot of nostalgia for them. But if I had to pick just one, this is the crown jewel. Watching as an adult now, it's not so much about the plot as it is about the vibes. This is pure aesthetic comfort food. Throw it on and you're instantly transported back to your childhood, sitting in front of the TV with way too much candy. It's the throwback of all throwbacks for kids my age. Now, sadly, there's no spooky intro to this episode, which is a bummer, and it's not even really technically set on Halloween, but I guess it doesn't matter. What makes this one work is that it actually tries to mix comedy with genuine scares. A lot of episodes on this list are straight comedy, which is great, but for me, the best Halloween episodes have that horror comedy flavor. They take an endearing cast of characters, drop them into a creepy situation, and mine both laughs and scares out of it. And while Obviously, this isn't Community or It's Always Sunny levels of adult humor, and it's not scary like Supernatural or an actual horror movie, but through the lens of a kid watching, it hits both sides perfectly. The jokes are goofy, but endearing and charming, and the scares are surprisingly well done. I was genuinely impressed. I am convinced this episode scarred an entire generation of young viewers in the best way possible, honestly. I mean, take the painting imagery, for example. It's such a simple idea, and you've seen it done a bunch of times, but for whatever reason, in this episode, it's unnerving as hell, especially for a kid's sitcom.
Wait. All of you!
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Pair that with some tense music and some clever sound design, and suddenly you've got a Disney Channel episode that actually feels atmospheric. That's why this one's so high on my list. It's exactly the kind of thing you want playing in the background on an overcast October night with a candle flickering and a mug of apple cider in your hands. It's pure Halloween nostalgic vibes, Disney Channel style.
Hey, little M&M's. Wow, great costumes. What are you guys, like 4 or 5?
46.
All right, yeah, okay. Here you go.
You don't understand, Slick. We're here for the party.
Yeah, that's cute.
Put your hand down.
Okay, so technically this one doesn't get any special points from me because it doesn't do a Halloween remix of the Goosebumps intro, but it doesn't need one. It gets extra points for having a goddamn iconic intro all on its own, like legitimately one of the best intros in TV history, kids show or not. You hear that noise, that doop 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 doop, and you know exactly what the fuck is going on. This two-parter has everything I want out of an October watch. Jack-o'-lanterns, candy, costumes, creepy wolves howling in the distance, cemeteries, and a plot that's actually directly tied to Halloween. Plus, it actually goes for scares. While it's not laugh out loud funny like a lot of other entries on this list, it makes up for it by being genuinely spooky for adults, which is way more my style. And yeah, obviously it's super cheesy. It's Goosebumps TV, but that works in its favor for me. The 90s haircuts, clothes, and sets, they all just add to this total package of nostalgic charm. And before we jump into anything else, I need to address Carly Beth's mom. Who the hell makes a creepy bust of their kid for fun? Like, that's scarier than the masks in a certain respect. Like, that's nightmare fuel before the supernatural stuff even starts happening. And why does it smile in the beginning? We haven't even seen a mask yet, and she just made it, according to her. I mean, I need answers. This shit is weird. But weird writing choices aside, Carly Beth is actually a pretty solid character for what it is. The acting from the kids isn't Oscar level, but, you know, they do the best with what they're given, and they're kids. Leave them alone. But the real star of the show here is the haunted mask. The design here rocks. It's unsettling in a way that actually holds up, and some of the other imagery throughout the show is low-key terrifying. Goosebumps has a whole like horror movie training wheels kind of vibe, you know, like baby's first trip to horror film school. And instead of throwing kids directly into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you start them here so they can kind of experience the themes and stories and imagery without getting totally traumatized. And the haunted mask really does push the boundaries of what kids could comfortably handle while still delivering a digestible little morality tale. It's really great stuff. I will admit, stretching it over 2 episodes does make it drag in spots, and it's kind of distracting that the mask's mouth doesn't move while she's talking, but honestly, this episode taps into trick-or-treating nostalgia better than anything else on this list. It just screams Halloween night. And even if the ending doesn't totally make sense and the special effects kind of look like shit, it still delivers for me on the whole. It's spooky, it's nostalgic, and it fucks.
This Halloween, the Simpsons are at Burger King. Now in every big kid's meal you can get a Simpsons spooky light up. They gleam, there is scream, and you can collect all 15.
Yeah, I know this isn't some deep cut pick, but let's be honest, this is the one. Treehouse of Horror 5 isn't just the best Simpsons Halloween special, it's the peak of the entire mountain. If you're only gonna watch one among the 30 bajillion that they've done at this point, make it this one. For me, the best Halloween specials are always horror comedies. I've said this already, but you've got to take a lovable cast of characters, throw them into some scary shit, and somehow balance actual tensions with genuine laughs. And the Treehouse of Horror specials nail that formula perfectly. It's really incredible how much they cram into just 20 small minutes without wasting a single beat. And obviously they get extra points from me for the Halloween themed intro, which always makes these specials feel like an event. And of course, the shinning segment is the crown jewel to me. It is so fucking funny.
You've got the shinning.
You mean shining.
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Every joke lands and there is just no misses, but the other segments hit too. They're creepy, they're clever, and at times genuinely uncomfortable in the best way. If I had to nitpick, it doesn't lean into the visual Halloween motifs enough, not enough pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns after the intro, but who cares, right? It's airtight, endlessly rewatchable, and it fucks harder than probably anything else on this list. It's so funny. I'm not breaking new ground by saying that, obviously. Now this is what the fuck I'm talking about, baby. While it's not exactly scary, this double feature is just overflowing with Halla-fucking-ween vibes. It's got the music, the colors, the pumpkins, the nostalgia, the costumes, the candy. Every single frame screams Halloween. You literally can't go 5 seconds without seeing a jack-o'-lantern or a trick-or-treater or a goofy-ass costume popping up in the background. It rules. It's also like really funny, not like kids show funny, like funny. That wooden clog shoes joke kills me every single time. But I'll admit, a lot of this pick is nostalgia for me. I've been throwing this on every October since I was a kid, and it just feels like the perfect pumpkin carving background watch. Anytime you glance away from your mangled jack-o'-lantern and back at the TV, you're guaranteed to see something spooky, cozy, or laugh out loud funny. Other episodes on this list are scarier. Other episodes on this list are funnier, but none of them embody the spirit of Halloween like this one does. It's about embracing being weird, having fun with being scary, hanging out with friends, carving pumpkin, and eating candy until you feel sick. It's the complete package. If you don't have time for a full horror movie, hell, maybe not even a full episode of TV, throw this on before heading out in your costume and you're instantly ready for the Halloween night. And look, I respect It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown as much as the next guy, but let's be real, it ain't got shit on SpongeBob. And those are my picks for the 10 best TV Halloween episodes of all time. But please leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree, and also leave a like on the video. If you enjoy what I do here, it really helps let YouTube know it needs to show my videos to more wonderful people like you. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to Nostalgia Mode for more entertainment related videos. Until next time,